It's a meme coin and Pepe explosion at the moment. In today's show, I want to talk about exactly what could be in store for Pepe and if it's too late to buy, or whether there's a genuine chance that this becomes the next bona fide blue chip meme coin that can rival Doge, that can rival SHIB, and all those other coins. Also, in today's show, I want to brief you on the week ahead because there is plenty happening this week with FOMC and also earnings. But of course, the main story of the day in crypto and of the week in crypto is meme coins. This big meme coin run with meme coins exploding left, right, and center. So that's what I want to talk about. More so than the other stuff. Someone says, Mars, that thumbnail, dude. Well, this is what the thumbnail shows. It shows Pepe versus SHIB. And if you compare the market caps, it's a 24x. Now, of course, that's pretty ludicrous to assume that Pepe would do a 24x after already going up, 1000x. But I want to actually explore, do a bit of a thought experiment, explore whether it's actually possible and what are the drivers behind meme coins. That's something I'll get into, and of course I'll explain exactly why we made the thumbnail that. Although it is a bit clickbaity, but that's just the YouTube algorithm. You do have to play the YouTube game. So let's get on with the video and firstly talk about what is in store for this week from a macro perspective, and then we'll talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, then of course the meme coins. So it is a pretty key week for US economic data. We have the manufacturing PMI happening on Monday, then we have the payroll data Wednesday, then of course the big date, which is the Fed rate hike. This is where Jerome Powell is going to make his next decision on the interest rates. Also, we do have the jobless claim, so jobless data coming in later in the week ahead of the unemployment rate, which is going to show the strength or the weakness of the labor market. Now, it's a bit of a weird situation because for a strong economy, you want a strong labor market overall for the United States. However, there is like a small case to be made that a weakening labor market could actually be good from the perspective of risk assets, because that would mean like the Fed can't really be as strict with its rate hikes. It might need to cut to ease the general economic environment to facilitate an economy where the labor rate can increase and there's more demand for labor, and lower interest rates mean companies are able to borrow more, they're able to spend more. Oftentimes stock valuations go up, which means companies are able to be a bit more lenient with how they, leverage their capital, borrow against it, etc. So there's many reasons why a lower interest rate would be better for the labor market. So it's a bit of a weird situation where you almost want bad data if you're a crypto holder or a stock holder. But overall, for the American economy, this is pretty much just kicking the can down the road. I don't know if you watched the banter on Friday when Harry Dent spoke about this, but basically what he said was, look, although in the short term this can be good for things like stocks and crypto, etc., you're really just kicking the can down the road because you are essentially not enabling the economy to be free functioning. A free capitalist society should be able to go through these periods of economic expansion, but then contradictory go through periods of contraction, and that's normal. That's the normal functioning of a healthy economy. And basically, by the Fed continuing to step in, provide artificial stimulus, you're not allowing the economy to function the way it should function, because free markets should also have down periods as well. So it'd be interesting to see how the Fed responds to the unemployment data. I think that'll be a driver of the market, but none so bigger than the FOMC, which is obviously on May 2nd to May 3rd. May 3rd is when we get the official rate hike announcement. That is on Wednesday in the US, Thursday if you're in Australia or Asia, like I am, early in the morning. So that will be a big driver of the markets. Currently, if we do look at the FOMC probability, we're seeing 80%, basically hasn't changed since last week, chance of a 25 bips rate hike. That's pretty much in line with what the expectation's been for a couple of weeks now. And that's, we get one more hike, then we get a pause, then we get a cut. But Fabian raised a really interesting point on Twitter this morning, and I think this basically sums up what we can expect from the FOMC meeting perfectly. He said he expects Powell to put his hawkish tone on Wednesday. He was extremely dovish last meeting in the face of regional bank collapses. This time around, the situation has stabilized, and recent macro data is strong enough that he won't need to hold anything back. That's pretty. I mean, GDP was down, but it was still a 1.1% positive growth quarter, and I mean, the labor market data so far has been pretty strong. Maybe it starts to weaken on Friday, but so far it has been pretty strong. This will likely allude to a pause. However, the consumer remains strong and inflation is stubbornly above target. I think they will feel the need to balance out the optimism surrounding a pause the only way they know how, with a good old hawkish press conference. Markets are also giving them a lot of room to do so, and they have taken the opportunity every time that the S&P was above 4K last year. The bigger question to me is whether Powell will be able to temper markets even if he tries, or if investors will continue to look past his words and draw their own conclusions as they've been doing in recent months. I think this is the best summary I've seen, because basically what he's saying is, look, he expects Powell to be hawkish, but whether or not the market listens to that is the real question. Stock market still relatively juicy, still relatively frothy. I think it's almost at yearly highs on the S&P, the NASDAQ as well, after some pretty strong earnings last week, did have a bit of a rally. When the markets are rallying, unfortunately, that means Powell can afford to be a little bit more hawkish. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting going into this FOMC. But whether the market listens to that is the main question, as Fabian states here, because recently, because of the real contradictory nature of some of these press conferences, that day comes to mind when Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell were just so misaligned on the banking crisis. The market's kind of like, well, we don't really care what you have to say anymore. Like, we know what you're doing. You're kind of using words as a tool to like push some or perpetuate some narrative that isn't necessarily lining up with the data that we're getting. And that is, look, we're getting rate cuts. So it's going to be interesting to see how the market reacts on Wednesday. I might look at trading it a little bit, but to be honest, trading FOMC, we're going to get into the charts in just a second, but trading FOMC is a tricky one. There are a few levels I'm looking at on Bitcoin, which we'll get into, but it's difficult to trade, and I'll explain why. We also have earnings this week, so we got some of the big boys. The biggest boy in town is Apple, of course, the biggest stock on the NASDAQ. Then you've got Coinbase, Shopify, Block, AMD, and some others. So I'm expecting strong earnings. Why? Because, I mean, we had Google really strong. We had Amazon, Meta, Facebook, same thing, all super strong. And if that's a trend that we can go by, then all likelihood is that we have another strong week of earnings. Companies probably haven't taken the knock that we thought they might take as a result of interest rate rises. So it does have a slight delayed effect. The effect of interest rate rises on the market, we often see like a lagging effect where, they raise rates. It takes like 12 months or, around that time frame for data to actually impact the market. And that's probably what we're seeing with some of this data here. Going to be interesting to see what Q2 data is, considering Q1 was quite strong. I do expect this to weaken at some point, but maybe the market was overly bearish in the face of what it thought would be, quite a tough quarter given the interest rate rises for these companies. Mars is smarter than Sheldon. Well, yeah, I'd like to think so, but I'm also like, obviously have a lot of self-confidence. So everyone's arguing who's the best in banter. Someone said I'm disappointing. Someone said I'm the top man. I mean, the beauty of this channel is that we've got a lot of different hosts with a lot of different opinions. So, if you like TA, then you can watch Sheldon and Carl. If you like more fundamental stuff, and narrative-based stuff, you can follow me. If you like, market updates and news, you can follow Rand's show. So I think that's the good thing about this channel, that we kind of have a variety of stuff. And yeah, you may not like some of the hosts. You may like some of the hosts. You may not like me. You may like Sheldon. That's completely up to you. And I think that's the good thing about the format we've got here versus other channels where, it's just one host and it's kind of their opinion dominates the entire channel. Kind of the beauty of what I think we've built at Banter. And that's obviously, why I love being involved, because you get that difference of opinion. And trust me, our opinions differ a lot. We have research calls every morning, and we've had many arguments. I've argued with Rand for half an hour on a topic, and he's stubborn and I'm stubborn. We also agree on topics. And then, sometimes the traders argue, Sheldon and Carl argue. It's good. It's really, really good because it tests your confirmation bias. And if we all have different opinions, it's actually better to remain objective on the channel when we do produce content, because, make sure we're not all in this echo chamber. So although I'm flattered that some of you guys are like sticking up for me in the comments, I think at the end of the day, it's actually good we've got a difference on the channel. This is a crypto cheat sheet before we get into the charts for the month, just to kind of show you some of the major dates, because there are some pretty key dates for crypto this month. We've got the Blur Season 2 airdrop on Monday. Blur's been performing quite strongly. I think we may see a slight drop after the airdrop, because a lot of people were farming that airdrop. That was kind of like a bit of a trend, because after the first airdrop, there was a lot of FOMO. A lot of people missed out. They wanted to farm the second one. Typically what we see is like some increased supply hitting the market. That's something I expect, but let's see what happens. I'm not really trading Blur. I know some of the other traders on the channel are, but I'm not. Number 2, on Tuesday, we got the Avalanche Summit. Avalanche actually has been one of the most impressive tokens on the market. If you look at the growth in its metrics, the growth in its revenue, growth in the PE ratio, Avalanche has been one of the strongest performers. And I'm not sure whether that's just because we're heading into a conference and for some reason Price likes to pump into the conference, but price aside, there has been increased activity on chain. That's been a really good sign. So I'm excited to see what kind of announcements come out of the Avalanche Summit, whether we see some cool new product upgrades. The Avalanche ecosystem's one, I think, it's kind of slipped into the background for a while, and a lot of alt L ones have, because there's this, really strong overbearing L2 thesis at the moment. But I expect L1s at some point to get their day in the sun again. And when they do, I think Avalanche is one you got to keep your eye on. I've had issues with the project. I've had issues with a lot of L1s with their approach, but I also have some things that AVAX has done that's been really good. I think what they've been able to do with their partnerships is great. You had the Google partnership, AWS partnership. Some of that's just optics, but genuinely, like, they have been working hard, and I do see, it's funny, we'll talk about this another time, I do see an inherent benefit to the subnet design. Scalability is much, much easier when you have the ability to just spin up subnet after subnet. But also the way that affects the tokenomics of AVAX is you don't have that crazy supply burn on the AVAX token that you might see on a token like Ethereum, because you're essentially diluting across a variety of chains. So it's kind of like a good and a bad thing for AVAX that they're designed like that, but it's novel. If they were built the exact same as Solana, if they were built the exact same as Phantom, if they were built the exact same as Ethereum, there'll be no differentiating factor. And I like how they have a different approach to how we should scale a blockchain. Similar to like NIA, they have a different approach. Sui has a different approach. It's good to see different approaches. So it, makes an interesting one to diversify into. Then, of course, we have Sui mainnet launch on Wednesday. Of course, Sui NFTs have been trending on Twitter a little bit. So yeah, we're seeing some hype into Sui. We have the Sui rewards event on Thursday. You'll actually be able to trade Sui on some of the major exchanges. I know they had kind of a disappointing airdrop rollout where they announced that they were going to do a form of private round on the exchanges versus an airdrop, but nonetheless, Sui listing, I think, will generate a little bit of hype. Will it do an Aptos? Well, it highly depends on the valuation. We'll cover that tomorrow when it launches on the show, and I'll look to trade it when it gets listings, but it is going to depend on the valuation for me. If it's like anything less than half Aptos, I think I'll probably take a relative strength bet, because I think Sui has a lot of things going for it that are better than Aptos, but we'll just need to see. And yeah, look, we have other stuff that we'll talk about later into the week as the calendar goes on. Oh, my subscription has been modified. That's right, because I had to buy a new subscription. But it's going to start switching my charts. All right, Bitcoin. So we'll get into the memes, but I want to start with Bitcoin. First thing I want to start with is the weekly chart. This wasn't a great weekly candle. I'm just going to be objective here. What I would like to see from Bitcoin is a push above this high. The problem is, until we break above, essentially what you could be forming here is a lower high. Form a lower high here, and likelihood is we go down to range highs, in my opinion. We still have a week to fix this, though. We still have this week to fix this. Strong economic data, strong FOMC will give Bitcoin a chance of reclamation. That will see it push into the 32K range. At that point, you have a really big decision to make, because between 32 and 43 to 45, there's basically nothing. This move down was really, really, really quick back in March. The move up, I'm expecting, will be quick if we get it. But what we need to see is a decisive breakout of the 32K mark. That's not even possible unless you reclaim your previous weekly highs here. If we go into the daily, which will give you a bit more scope on where we currently sit, you'll be able to see that the positive thing is we're holding above 29. Remember this blue box? This was our zone to start taking some like scalp longs, small positioning to the long side for Bitcoin. We bounced off that. That was a good sign. We're holding above. Looks like we could be making another bull flag on the hourly. Very rough chart, but just giving you an idea of the kind of price action here. What you want to see is a break above. And once again, on the higher time frame, of the reclamation of 30K. That's really what we're looking for now. You start to break down here, and then, so like a breakdown of this wedge. Just going to draw it in super rough, just to give you an idea of price action. Breakdown, bearish retest, 29. We come back down into this blue zone. We reevaluate. So I'll probably look to short if we start breaking below this zone. I probably won't long here. I'm just sort of like super comfortable longing here. I mean, you could long the retest. If we actually do come under and then come back above, retest, then that would be my scenario to long. But it really depends if we have that bearish retest or, a bullish retest. That's really the question. Either way, I'll probably trade it with small size because it's not a key level. The key level for me to buy is this blue zone again. I'd be happy to buy in this zone again for a bounce. But if we come back down into this zone, then the next high, if that's a lower high, I think we're going to range highs. Look, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But we have to just play the price action here. It's kind of a weird scenario. I'm like mixing up scenario and situation. It's a weird scenario for Bitcoin where what I feel is that we've kind of run out of catalysts. So the markets, just to put this in context, the markets had a big move, right? It's had a massive move, almost 100% from lows to the 31K zone. We need a big catalyst. Bitcoin needs a narrative. It needs a real driving force behind it. I don't know what this is. Another banking collapse, a huge liquidity injection from China, I don't know, some crazy rate cut. It needs something. A stock market breakout of 4K, like a big one. It needs some sort of catalyst, right? For it to actually get the momentum to clear 32, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of shorts and there's a lot of sells in this area. I don't have the sell wall data for you. I wish I got it before the show, but I saw a tweet yesterday which had the sell walls on Binance. And if you're an order book trader, you can go and look at the order books and you'll see that there's a lot of sell volume here. So it's going to be hard to break without a new catalyst. And for me, this remains a short zone. This whole zone remains a short zone. Because if I'm wrong, why is it a short zone? Because if I'm wrong and we break above and I get stopped out, I have my long-term spot bags, which are going to benefit from the breakout, and I'm happy to flip long on the retest of 32. So for me, it's a short zone just based on how my portfolio is constructed. I would rather head short, considering my long-term exposure on the short-term trading side, than try and be greedy and pick off a long into resistance. Longing here is a little bit better. Longing here is a little bit dumb, in my opinion. So let's just see how Bitcoin plays out. Leaning towards bearish, though. Leaning bearish slightly. Happy to be proven wrong. Very happy to be proven wrong, but just showing you where I'm leaning in terms of price action. Unless we reclaim a new high. That's really the exception. But, for altcoins, I know a lot of you don't even care about Bitcoin. A lot of you are altcoin degens. To be honest, I am as well. So the question for us really doesn't become, will Bitcoin break out to the upside? The question is actually, will altcoins get a rotation? Because, Bitcoin's moved 100%. And alts still, we have seen a meme run, but many alts still aren't, they're kind of lagging relative to Bitcoin. And the goal as a trader is to always outperform Bitcoin, right? So, look, the number one chart for me, I spoke about this on Friday. By the way, we're going to get into PEPE and all the memes in a second. I spoke about this on Friday, but ETH BTC is the chart for me that I am using right now to assess altcoin dominance. And it's not looking good if you are an altcoin fan. Why? Because ETH BTC needs to break to the upside for me to be interested in a rotation play. That could look something like this. A break of this orange line, hold above this mid-range, bang. You might take a long on the breakout, then a long on this line here. When I say long, I mean rotation out of Bitcoin into alts. But whilst this trend remains downwards, you've got to just keep shorting alts versus BTC. I'm not talking about USD pairs, by the way. I'm not talking about putting fresh capital into alt shorts unless you've got confluence on the USD charts. Because Bitcoin can pump, altcoins can pump, but they can pump less and BTC dominance increases. I'm talking about trading the BTC pairs. You actually can trade BTC pairs as well. For someone with a lot of BTC spot, it's actually, I think, my biggest holding again. It keeps flip-flopping between ETH and BTC, but I think it's Bitcoin now. Last time I checked, I'll look to just trade a little bit of that. Because, look, I want to hold Bitcoin long-term. The goal of altcoin trading for me is to stack more Bitcoin. Only a percentage of my Bitcoin is variable. I would say 70% of my Bitcoin I'm holding forever. It's locked away. It's on a ledger. I'm not touching it. I just stack it, forget about it. 30% of my Bitcoin is variable, though. So I'll have some Bitcoin, which is on exchanges or in another wallet that I trade with. That Bitcoin, happy to rotate between alts with as well. You can also do perps on alt BTC pairs if you want to trade this. But look, if this trend keeps going down like this, I'm expecting to target the 5.5 region for ETH BTC. Hit this region, and this is where I'll be betting on a bounce. So there's two scenarios where I go heavier into alts. One of them is I bet on the bounce here and look for invalidation below. And then the second scenario is we break above and then we start reclaiming. This will be our swing low. And then after swing lows, we can look to attack this zone of the 8 region. For now, ETH BTC looking bearish. As long as this is in a downtrend, I'm not really going crazy longing alts. Just going to keep it 100 with you, because we also have the Bitcoin chart on the BTC dominance showing this candle looks like it wants to break through. This is the weekly candle. If we go into the daily, it paints a slightly different picture. You can start to see like a bit of a double top forming. I really hope it is. If this is a double top and we make new lows, then it's alt season, baby. But unfortunately, this weekly candle is still pretty scary. And yes, this is going to close, but if this second candle shoots through the top of dominance, then BTC Dom has a 54% target after that. So what we really want a rejection here. If you're an altcoin fan, you really want a rejection. What you want is a reversal this week, a bearish retest, and then you want to break through these lows here. We can draw it on the smaller time frames, draw a small horizontal. You want to break below that, and then you've got 42% targets to 40% on your Bitcoin dominance. But until then, see, what gives me hope is that the fact we've had multiple rejections so far. But if this keeps shooting through, then you've got to long Bitcoin more than you long alts. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on BTC Dom, and that's lining up with ETH BTC, and that's also lining up with Total 3, coming back in below its support SR flip. So you can't really go too crazy there either. So just keeping it real on that front. Let's get into the memes though, because the memes are really what has been driving the market in terms of alts. Let's just see what the comments are saying. Alts need to catch up. They do need to catch up, but just because they need to doesn't mean they will. Unfortunately, it's kind of a scenario where they're lagging, but probably for good reason. The narrative driving Bitcoins, this flight to safety narrative, banking collapse narrative, and also I just feel like the market doesn't have that risk on appetite to really speculate on alts yet. Although like you can certainly trade altcoins. I'm pretty select with it right now. Now, there are a few that I'm trading against the market. A few look strong. A few come to mind. You've got your INJs, your Joes, even your Phantoms holding up quite strongly. Arbitrum, AVAX. There are some coins, meme coins, that are showing relative strength, and I'll trade those. But, I'm more using ETH BTC, BTC Dom as a proxy for the entire altcoin market, which is suggesting to me like I'm not comfortable to go super, super crazy long into altcoins. Someone said, I don't care. I'm in cash. I'd love to buy my space ID again at crazy low prices. I think it's important to keep cash. If you don't keep cash, I would reconsider it. I mean, of course, you've got to trade how you want to. But for me, I like to keep, at least 20 to 30% cash at all times. To be honest, I'm very heavy cash now. Probably heavier than I'd like. Obviously, still have a lot of crypto exposure. But, I'm probably above 30% cash, which I think is pretty heavy. So, I mean, I don't know if you need to go that extreme, but at least 10% cash I think is good. I just want ammunition in case things reverse and we have to buy lower. I've got a lot of alts I've got conviction in, and I spoke about this last week. If you have conviction in altcoin, then you should be comfortable buying it much lower, and your thesis really shouldn't revolve around price. So there are a few alts I'm really bullish on, and the only real way that I'm going to get the exposure that I want is through buying massive corrections and lowering my cost basis. So that's why I'm heavy cash. Kind of hoping, a weird part of me is hoping that we do get like a significant pullback. That would be a great load up zone. Part of me is hoping for that. The other part of me doesn't mind if the market just runs. I've got enough long-term exposure if it does. But the key is finding the balance where you're not really biased, where you're kind of trading based on, you don't really care. If the market goes up, you're happy. If the market goes down, you're happy. I think that's the best place to get to. I feel like the only way to get to that place, though, is to have enough cash and to have a consistent income flow. If you don't have a consistent income flow, that would be my focus first before trying to ape into any meme coins or anything. But, this isn't financial advice. You have to make your own assessment on your own financial situation. All right, let's get into the PEPE conversation. Just before we do that, I want to remind you that the trading comp is started. I haven't really opened a trade here yet. Why? It was the weekend. Volume this weekend was shit. There was basically no volume on Bitcoin. I'll actually show you the volume chart. It was, look at this. Look at this. Okay, yep, we had buy volume on Wednesday, Thursday, but this weekend volume was trash. I'll show you on the alley. You'll see it even more clearly. Look at this volume. Just completely died over the weekend, similar to what we saw the week before. Really bad volume. Bad volume is not great. You can trade good setups if there's no volume. Don't get me wrong. You can trade good setups on the weekend, but it just makes it harder because without volume, you don't get those powerful moves, and trend lines and TA doesn't seem to obey structure as well when there's lack of volume. So the reason I haven't opened a trade in the trading comp is just because of that. That's going to change this week, though. FOMC Wednesday, a real crazy set of price action from some of these meme coins alludes to me that there's a big move coming. And I mean, what way that is really dependent on how Bitcoin reacts here. If we get a God candle to the upside, we'll trade it accordingly. And if we also start to kind of show this price action where you're making lower highs, then we'll play that short accordingly and then look for a bounce on down here. The thing with alts, though, is we're going to have to line them up with Bitcoin. So this week I'm planning on doing a lot of alt BTC charting, looking at a lot of relative strength trades. That'll be my focus early in this week, and I'm pretty sure I'll be in some altcoin positions in the next 2 days. Once we get a little bit of a move from Bitcoin, of course, it's still Sunday in the US, right? So tomorrow and in a few hours, we're going to get Asian Open. Then tomorrow in the US, we're going to get that Bitcoin volatility. What I would do now if I were you is start prepping with altcoin setups to start monitoring them versus their BTC pairs. And if you have to do short setups, that's fine because ETH BTC looks bearish. And if Bitcoin does reverse, then if you have good short setups, you can also make money on the short side. You don't need to hope and pray for a God candle. You can also trade the other way as well. Just remember that. I know a lot of people have a long bias. That's okay, but it's good to have a strategy for both ways. So trading comp, if you're not registered, get in the comp. Only 1,300 people in to win a Tesla. Not huge competition, if I'm being honest, to win a Tesla. We have a few traders doing well. Reptilian is still in the lead. We've had a few of the top fives already wreck themselves, probably trading too much size on the weekend. Reptilian is in line for a Tesla or 40,000. We got number 2 here. I'll just call him Eri. He's got his 6,000 reward. If the more participants enter, that'll scale to a Rolex or 20K. More people equals more prizes. So actually, if you sign up, the prizes go up as well. So link in the description to that. Just click that link, register through the link by clicking the register now button. If you don't have an account, you need a Banter account that you can also qualify for if you use this button. And yeah, looking forward to this trading comp throughout the rest of the week. Really want to get active there. Just very difficult to do on a Monday. But I'll share your setups with as we get on with the comp. Okay, let's get on with, I'm just looking at the comments. Let's get on with the meme talk. Okay, this is the big story of the market. This is what everyone wants to hear. What everyone wants to talk about. Someone says Asia loves memes. Is Asia going to pump Pepe? Well, this has been crazy. This meme coin run. Just to start off, like I've seen examples of people making $2 million of $250 doing some on-chain tracking. Another person off $25 made $1 million. This is creating a new generation of crypto millionaires. This, which is pretty insane to say. You only really see those kind of gains in memes. Of course, like on a long-term time horizon, fundamental investing is much better and less risky. And that's where you get, your big games. That's what like Rand did really, really well in 2017. And also, I managed to do quite well in 2019 was get good entries early in the bear market on alts. But in terms of like how to make money really, really quick and how to become a millionaire overnight, these meme coins seem to be like the perfect vehicle. I'm going to get into my step-by-step plan in a second of like how I would actually approach meme coins. But just in terms of sheer wealth creation, this Pepe phenomena has been insane. It's now the 5th biggest meme coin. It's just after Floki, Baby Doge, SHIB, and Doge. I think it's going to flip Floki very soon, to be honest. I don't know if that's probably a Pepe pump would constitute that. Maybe Floki drops a little bit and profits rotate. I'm not sure, but I feel like it's got the momentum to flip. This is coming from someone that made a 30x on Floki last cycle, by the way, and I'm still bag holding some. Wish I sold it all. I did well for myself, but I wish I sold it all. But that was a pretty crazy trade back last bull run. I think I only put a few thousand in though. So I made good money, but I didn't make life-changing money, at least for me. Maybe for some people, but yeah, that was a crazy trade. I was just reflecting on that for a second. So Pepe coming in at number 5 now. And in terms of total market cap, it's in the top 200. Pepe is a top 200 coin. Now, when we talked about this on the show last week, if you told me that next week, Pepe would have 10x'd and become a top, actually 10x in 12 days, 7 days at 2x. But we covered it almost a 10x ago on the channel. If you told me 12 days later it would be, in the top 5 of all meme coins, I probably wouldn't have believed you, but that's what happened. This meme had the steam. Now, look, I'm not going to claim to have called this correctly because, I certainly didn't get in here. But I did, for the people that watch the show, if you remember, I did have this wedge drawn on the show last week. So if you were trading that, you would be up roughly 200%. So that was a pretty good trade for the viewers. Congrats if you did get in. I know a lot of you get in. I ended up getting in. I know Hustle was big on it as well. So like we did catch this on the channel, but not as early as I would have liked. Hustle got in like here. He got in pretty early. I didn't. I waited for a little bit later for this breakout, and then I've caught the last leg, but not really anything significant. I didn't make a 10 or a 20x. Just want to be transparent. But I made a little bit. After a 2x, my rule is to always take my initial out, ride a moon bag. So for me, I'm just riding free profits. I'm not buying more here. Personally, I'll just speak for myself. I'm not buying more here. I'm not aping. But I'm just riding profits. For the ones that didn't get in and want to get in, what's my strategy? Well, look, it's really tricky. Why? Because meme coins are a casino. The way you have to think of meme coins is basically like, if you went into a casino and you went to the roulette table, how much would you bet on red? What would be the maximum amount you bet? Would you bet $50? Would you bet $100? Would you bet $1,000? That is kind of how much money you should be allocating to meme coins, in my opinion. Like, you have to treat it like a gamble, not an investment. The amount you put into PEPE should be like 1% of what you'd put into Ethereum. Like, you really have to... like, I know crypto in general is a gamble, but when it comes to memes, this is even more of a gamble. So think of the amount that you would happily put on the roulette table at the casino. And if that's $100, then maybe consider putting $100 into a meme coin if you really, really want to buy it. But that is how I kind of think about it. So whatever I put into this is literally money I'm willing to lose at a casino. I lose it, I don't care. Because when I go to the casino, I come to have fun. I come for the culture. I want to have a bet. I want to have just a good time. I don't really care if I lose. In fact, if I lose, it might be just a funny story to tell later. That's kind of how I view meme coins. Now, there are fundamental things you can do, which we'll get into in a second, to increase your chances. So, you know, flipping that roulette house edge, which is like, I think 3 to 5% at the casino, into like maybe a slight positive, maybe a slight EV positive, but it's always going to be slight. You're never going to have a huge edge on memes unless you're creating the meme coin. Now, maybe there are some of you in this show as well that actually create their own meme coins. I've seen some people make crazy gains off doing that. That's kind of how I view PEPE at the moment in terms of like an investment. Now, holders have almost 5x over the last week. It's been crazy. There are now 58,000 people holding PEPE. This is skyrocketing every day. It's up 11% today. The bigger this gets, the stronger the community grows. The stronger it grows, the more meme power it has. It's kind of like a flywheel of memes. Someone said can't fade PEPE. Absolutely not. You don't fade this. But what do we mean by fade? Well, you definitely can't short this. It's too hard to short. Too explosive. Bad risk reward on shorting. But does fade mean buy here? I mean, you have to make your mind up whether that's something you want to do. I mean, for me, I would only put roulette money in now, or at any point, but especially now. And I would probably only want to buy pullbacks. I mean, I have a rule in general with crypto that I only buy pullbacks, right? You just bought $100, PEPE will crash now. Yeah, that's how it goes with these memes sometimes. But look, on pullbacks, I mean, you could look at stacking some if you really felt the FOMO here, but this is just a meme. Like, we don't know how high it will go. Now, there's this SHIB comparison, which is this 24x comparison. So a lot of people are now saying, including the title of this video, could PEPE overtake SHIB? Could PEPE overtake Doge? Let's look at how far it is away from Doge. Why isn't Dogecoin coming up? Dogecoin. 45x away. So if you kind of start looking at it like this, you can kind of make the argument, this is just getting started. You can make the argument, that's the weekly chart. Look at that. No historical data, of course, because it's only 2 weeks old. You can make the argument, this is just getting started. It's going to do something like that and then 45x and be the next Doge. Could it? Absolutely it could. Will it? In my opinion, no. Probability-wise. Is it worth a bet just in case? Maybe on a pullback with gambling money. But you can't invest in this with the expectation of it reaching the Doge or SHIB levels. because it hasn't been around as long. It doesn't have the same amount of exchange listings. The team isn't really vetted. Elon pumped Doge. SHIB has a crazy SHIB army. It doesn't have enough social proof. I think that's the thing, right? Maybe it gets the social proof, and then at that point, it becomes the biggest meme coin. But it doesn't really have that social proof, and from all reports, we don't even really know much about the team. That's scary. It could be a rug. That's also scary. So there's enough to suggest to me, like, you got to be pretty careful. Alex Becker said it just formed a blow off top. I don't know. I think Becker's wrong. I don't think you can call a blow off top. There's nothing here that looks like a top to me. Nothing that looks like a bottom to me. Nothing that looks like anything to me. It just looks like a meme coin being a meme coin. You could even draw this in as a bull flag and say, look, we're about to break to the upside again. Like, obviously TA on this isn't great, but like, I don't know, Becker, that doesn't look like a blow off top to me. Now it could be, but you can't say that. The thing with blow off tops is you don't know whether they're blow off tops. There's not much definitive price action that can tell you it is. Oftentimes, the only way to tell it's a blow off top is in retrospect. So looking back, like the Bitcoin blow off top, saying, okay, that was a blow off top. Calling a blow off top at the exact day that there's a blow off top is like basically impossible. So I would disagree with Becker. Here's an interesting thing though. One of my non-crypto friends recently just asked me if it's too late to buy PEPE. So like this is gaining some serious retail meme appeal. Like when I start getting non-crypto people asking me if they should buy a coin, it's usually a sign things are getting frothy, or at least topping. Like, it's quite funny. When Bitcoin was at 16K, like none of my friends were asking me whether they should buy. Like they were all basically scared, disinterested in crypto, nothing. Bitcoin's 2x now, and I'm starting to get the questions again. Should I get back into Bitcoin, bro? Like, is this the next bull run? Like, it's so weird how psychology works. When things are low, no one wants a bar of it. When things are high, everyone's suddenly interested. If it wasn't for that market psychology, it probably wouldn't be a profitable market to trade. Just make sure you're not falling into that psychology of everyone else, which is like the people that buy the tops and short the bottoms or sell the bottoms. Someone said PEPE has so many holders now, it's unstoppable. I mean, yeah, but Luna's probably not a good example because that was a mechanism design fault, but like every coin has a lot of holders. Like AVAX has more than 100,000 holders. That still crashed. Like everything crashed. Phantom. Everything's down. Sol had millions of holders. Everything is down, right? So the amount of holders doesn't necessarily mean that the price has to hold, because the amount of holders is just a reflection of price. The higher a token goes, the more hype it gets, the more people want in. Frogs over dogs. I love that saying. The more people want to buy it, the more people that want to buy it, the more holders, the higher the price goes, the more holders, the higher the price goes, the more holders. It's like a flywheel, right? That keeps going and going and going until the day when it stops. And the day when it stops is when you get a huge seller, whether this is like a whale or a team member dumping, and that usually happens with a market downturn. Let's say Bitcoin dumps, then the whales start dumping, and then people lose confidence because retail aped in at the top with too much money. They treated it like an investment and not a gamble. They're down, they panic, they sell, it blow off tops. More people sell, and then it all unravels. So the question is, and this is not a question I can answer, I apologize, but the question is, when does that happen? Does it 40x before we see the unraveling? Or does it 3x before we see the unraveling? Or is this the unraveling beginning? It's an impossible question. All I know is that if you allocate gambling money, you can probably just trade this thing and have fun. And if we get pullbacks, I'll buy some for the meme. I mean, I've got this orange level. I don't know if we get there. Look, let's monitor this as it goes. If we get a nice pullback into these zones, I'll buy some for the meme. But with gambling money. That's basically what I can kind of assess from that. Elio did a really good tweet. I thought this tweet was fantastic. I retweeted it. I'll read it for anyone that's a little bit that wants to FOMO and is like feeling the pinch here. Elio said, look, a lot of you need to hear this. The next cycle's just starting, and your bets at this stage should be long-term, 2 years. Meanwhile, most of you are literally tripping over each other to get rugged on the next meme, while real 50 to 100x gems backed by solid tech are everywhere. 99% of you suck at trading and shouldn't be pretending otherwise. Just buy and hold the good stuff. The cope on the timeline is going to be something else when the real run starts, as 99% of you are offside or down, even worse for meme coins. Fantastic tweet, because he's right. there are some amazing fundamental bets that you can make over these next 6 months to a year to position yourself for next cycle. A really, really easy way to ruin your chances of positioning yourself for next cycle is getting wrecked on meme coins. Now, you may make a lot of money, you may sure, but don't jeopardize the opportunity you have over the next couple of years to invest in really, really, really good protocols. And those things are going to perform just as well as the memes. Maybe they won't 1000x like PEPE, but there will be 50 to 100x's out there. And the difference is, here's the major difference, you have an edge on fundamentals, right? If I identify a project, a small cap, I know the team's great. I've met with the team, fantastic. The holders look good. There's good partnerships. Everything checks out. The tokenomics are great. There's a use case, and there's a good price on it. And it has a good relative valuation versus other coins, and there's many coins out there that I think fit this bill, then I've just created a house edge. I've got a plus EV bet because I've done the fundamental research. Now with meme coins, do you have a plus EV bet? I don't know. It's a big gamble. Look, if you do all the research, you may have a 0.1% edge. But it's still a small edge. It's nowhere near as big as the edge you'll get on fundamental research, right? Getting into good DeFi projects when they first launch. Airdrop farming is a very positive EV thing to do. All that kind of stuff that is plus EV, I think, is where your main focus should be going. 99% of your time and money should be going into this, the long-term fundamental investing. 1% of your time should be going into the meme stuff. If you want to hold some to have a lot of fun and just participate in the culture and then laugh if it goes to zero, do it. By all means, do it. But treating it as a serious investment that you're willing to back significantly with a decent amount of capital, probably not. Now, look, if you are going to play the meme coin game, feel free to screenshot this. This is a little bit of alpha for you. So if you are going to play the meme coin game, you're hell-bent on investing in meme coins. And guys, I invest in meme coins. One of my best performers last cycle was 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗕. Literally, Doge was one of my strongest performers. I'm not afraid of investing in memes. In fact, I love investing in memes. It's fun. But I don't treat them like my other bags. I treat it as a gamble. And when I do, I still go through a fundamental process just to try and get an edge. Although it's hard and it's mostly a gamble, I try and get an edge. I'll go through this really quickly. You can screenshot this if you want this for later, because I won't go into it too much in depth. I'll probably write a thread on this later. But monitor which coins are performing. So see which memes are showing strength. You can either A, trade the rotation, which is okay, Doge pumps. Let's look at other Inu coins for liquidity to rotate into. So if Doge pumps, you can look at SHIB, then 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗏. That's kind of how the last meme run happened. PEPE coins. It starts with PEPE, and I'm seeing 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗏. It kind of goes like that. So that's the first way you can approach meme coins. Trade meme-specific rotations. The second thing you can do is identify a niche leader and place bets accordingly. What's a niche leader? Well, a niche leader is Doge. A niche leader is now PEPE. The niche leaders are kind of the top meme coins in their sectors. Because of the theory that profits rotate down, that often alludes to profits going back into the original coin. Oftentimes, once a leader establishes itself, it has investor mindshare, which means all the profits that are taken off the small coins go back into the big one. So that's kind of why strategy B is also good. So that's just one way you can approach meme coins. And that worked with Doge and SHIB and 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗏. I don't know if it's going to work again, but it's just one idea. Number 3 is research the fundamentals. This is quite important, mostly just to avoid rugs. The team's important to avoid a rug. The supply is important to make sure you're not getting dumped on, but most importantly, the most important single factor for meme coin fundamentals is community. It's in the name, meme coin. How do memes grow? They grow by having strong communities. They grow by being talked about. They grow by being hyped. They grow by being speculated on. None of that's possible if you don't have a strong community. So community, the strength of it, the memeability of the token. I know it sounds stupid, but how memeable is it? PEPE is very memeable. Doge is very memeable. Is it memeable? If it's memeable and it has a strong community, it's got a better chance. That's what sets these meme coins apart from the really shit ones. like something that's just silly. Work out whether it's got a cult following developing. So you can join the Telegrams, join the Discord, see what's happening on the ground. Get your hands dirty. If you're serious about meme coins, don't spend all day on them, but the 1% of the time you do spend on them, see what's happening on the ground. Then verify that with actual data. I think Lunar Crush is the best one for this. See the data. Most importantly, you want to watch a trend developing. Is the token slowly gaining engagement over time? Is the community building over time? Is it an uptrend or a downtrend? See what's happening on the ground. The next thing you want to do is look for new listings. Why did PEPE pump so violently? Because it got its first major exchange listing, BitGet. Now, of course, it had all those other factors, but just think about the barrier to entry of a meme coin. If your meme coin is just on Uniswap, realistically, how many people have access to that coin? Not many. You need to have a MetaMask. You need to on-ramp, off. I mean, if you're lazy, you won't even do it. I mean, even for me, I'm in crypto all day and I get lazy. Like sometimes I can't be bothered putting money on a new MetaMask and I might miss a trade because of it. Whereas if it's on BitGet or Bybit or Binance or Coinbase, like how much easier is that to buy? Think about the last run. Do you think Doge was fueled by people buying it on Uniswap? No. It was fueled by the Robinhood and the Coinbase and the Binance listings, which pumped that thing. It was all exchange-based. So the biggest meme coins are actually the ones that get exchange listings. Upbit, BitGet, Binance, Coinbase. I mean, if PEPE gets listed on Coinbase, it'll probably explode. Retail's lazy. I'm pretty lazy. I mean, I consider myself retail as well, by the way. Retail is any trader that isn't institutional, right? By definition. So even I'm retail and we're lazy. I'm a hard worker, very hard worker, but lazy in the sense that if I can buy something on an exchange versus a MetaMask, I'll probably pick the exchange. Even if I have money on my MetaMask. I don't know, because I got a ledger and it's just that extra bit of friction. If you really want to buy something, it shouldn't stop you, but it is a little bit of extra friction. I saw people throwing 25 today into PEPE at all-time high. Yeah, it's just, look, we have to go back to the analogy of, look, would they have bet 25k on a roulette table? If they're that rich that they can afford to put 25k on red in one spin, then yeah, bet on PEPE. I wouldn't put 25k on one spin, to be honest. The max I'll put on one spin at a roulette table is like $1,000. And for most of you, even that's probably more than you put. Probably too much. I don't know. I don't get the thrill of anything more. It would just make me too stressed. It would just make me way too stressed. I wouldn't do it. So, yeah, that's for an initial entry. Look, if the price rises, like, we saw after the breakout, where you make a little bit of money, then things change because then you get to take profits. And once your initial purchase is out of a meme coin, you're riding free. It's like being at the casino. I mean, it's kind of this house money cognitive bias. But when you're at a casino and you put $1,000 on a roulette and you turn that to 5,000, when you're 4,000 up, a lot of people, they'll pocket the 1,000 and then bet with the 4,000. And the 4,000 is now house money. It's actually your money, but people view it as house money, risk-free money, which I can kind of bet with freely. That is a cognitive bias because there's no difference between house money and your money. It's the same thing once you win it. But once you're free, at least psychologically, you have a bit more leeway. If you're getting your first entry, you don't have that same leeway. And then you can probably bet more later. You could put, 10,000 in later if you're already up 10,000, right? Because you're already going to be break even no matter what. But it is a cognitive bias you got to be aware of. How to trade meme coins. I said treat it like a casino. I don't want to go on about that too much more. Only allocate money you're willing to lose. Take profits after a 2x. That's your quick few-step plan. Okay, I got two more ecosystems I want to talk about on the non-meme coin front that I'm seeing some cool things out of. Avalanche and Arbitrum. Some of the altcoins within those ecosystems. That's how we're going to end the show. Just before we get into that, I want to remind you about OKX. If you thought the Bybit Trading Comp was good with the Tesla, I don't think you guys realize how good the OKX one is because this is a $50,000 prize, the same prize as the Bybit comp, but you only need to really enter $1 to win a raffle ticket. Now, of course, the more you trade, the higher chance you have of winning, but there's less competition and it's only $1 to enter. So if you're not entered OKX comp, there's a link in the description. All you need to do is click it, sign up. If you already have an account, sign in. You need to have a bouncer account though. Click join now, deposit $1 and trade it. Or, obviously the more you deposit, the better. in terms of, well, the more you trade, the better. The more you deposit, you might get deposit bonuses. In fact, they do have a $10,000 mystery box for new deposits, but someone says Pepe is pumping. Let's check. It is pumping. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to all-time highs again today. But this is... it's crazy. It really is crazy. So yeah, on the OKX thing, if you haven't entered already, you still have time to enter. There's 21 days to go. In fact, if you haven't entered already, you've still got the biggest prize starting tomorrow. So you've got one more day to win a Maldives holiday for 7,500. But tomorrow, for 3 weeks, the Tesla comp kicks off. That is the big prize, the $50,000 prize. So you can start building trading volume for that tomorrow. It's going to be freaking huge. And I'm telling you, there's probably less people entered into this than the Bybit one. You're probably fighting 500 people. A 1 in 500 chance, and it might be more than this, right? It might be a lot more. I'm just picking a random number. But let's say it is a 1 in 500 chance to win a Tesla if you develop decent volume. That's pretty good odds. Pretty good odds. So link in the description to that. I mean, it's insane odds. What other giveaway do you have those kind of odds? It's nuts. Someone said go Pepe. Pepe keeps exploding. Pepe is literally exploding. All right. Here's another interesting point. Umbrella actually made this point to me. If you have seen him on Spaces, he's a smart guy. He's into NFTs, of course. And he kind of made an observation that Memecoin season often leads to an NFT season. It's kind of what we've seen 2021, 2020, 2022 as well, when we've had major meme pumps, but mostly 2021 I'm referring to. We've also seen an NFT rotation. Maybe just keep an eye on some, if this meme coin run continues, keep an eye on some of the best NFT projects. I feel like the real blue chips will perform well. I think Umbrella likes 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗏. Very expensive though, 8 ETH. So if you're into blue chips, maybe 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗏, but you know, it's expensive, right? So just have a look at the NFTs. I'm not an NFT guy. I just got a little bit of alpha, and then I looked at it historically, and he was right. Like, usually when there's big meme runs, NFTs usually have a bit of a run. Maybe a bit of alpha for you as well to look into that sector as kind of a rotation. Someone said 100. Thoughts on baby Pepe? I mean, I don't really have an opinion on a lot of these. Like, look, okay, you have my fundamental cheat sheet now. Hopefully you screenshotted it or whatever, but even with that, it's impossible to really quantify the fundamentals of most tokens. So over the last week, what's hot? Render's hot. INJ is hot. DYDX is hot ahead of its Atom launch. Atom's hot. The Atom ecosystem is freaking awesome. I really like it. If we get a major market pullback, that's where I'll be placing a lot of bets for next cycle, to be honest. Big fan of Injective. I just want lower. Big fan though. Render, it's kind of your AI industry proxy bet. A lot of people speculating on this as a proxy. Arbitrum, something I want to talk about. Arbitrum has, I mean, it's kind of slowed a little bit. Let me actually get up the chart for you. Okay. ARB holding nicely. I would love to see it hold mid-range at 132. Probably gets, I mean, this is the only place I would long. Hopefully looking for a bounce. Whether it reclaims this high or not is going to be a real dictator as to whether we short, back down, or whether, you know, we have a bullish retest, test of the highs. So, yeah, this is kind of what I'm seeing in the short term. Hopefully makes a higher low, and Arbitrum performs well. But that's not really why I brought up Arbitrum today. The reason I brought up Arbitrum, my tabs are all over the place. The reason I brought up Arbitrum is because of this. They're doing their DAO airdrop. So you guys know that 12% was airdropped to the community, but I think something a lot of people are fading is the fact that 1.13% was allocated to the ecosystem. And if we look at the ecosystem, there are some projects: Treasure, GMX, Uniswap, Sushi, Dopex, Curve, Radiant, Balancer, Vesta, Plutus, Aave, 1inch, etc., Beefy, Gains. They're all getting pretty big airdrops. I mean, This is a $10 million airdrop. They're getting millions of dollars in airdrops. And with these airdrops, a lot of these projects are going to start incentivizing pools to get more TVL. So I think there could be a bit of an Arbitrum ecosystem if the market holds. Now, this is contingent on Bitcoin holding. But if the market holds, I think the Arbitrum ecosystem is one to look at. Because you've got this new liquidity coming in. You've got some projects, especially these, receiving a huge percentage share relative to their market cap. The most important is relative, like Battlefly. I don't know anything about some of these, but 45%, 67%, even 20%. That's huge compared to the rest of the project. That's pretty massive. Now, how is it going to affect the Arbitrum ecosystem and the token prices? Well, the only real example we have of this is what happened to the Avalanche ecosystem. So if we look at Avalanche on DeFi Llama, in fact, Avalanche, just to give you the date here, August 19th, Avalanche announces a 180 mil DeFi incentive program. That's a 180 mil airdrop effectively into DeFi. If you look at the Arbitrum airdrop, it's probably a bit less, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's actually probably similar. It's probably around 100 mil being airdropped. $100 million, right? It's pretty similar to the size of the AVAX airdrop. So if we look at what happened to Avalanche on August 19th, watch this. August 19th is there for TVL on Avalanche, 539 mil. August 19th. By December 2nd, it was at 12 bill. 30x almost in TVL. Now, of course, once the incentives ran out, it dropped. But a lot of these projects are now going to have higher emissions, which means higher TVL. And higher TVL, well, typically leads to more activity, more revenue, etc., higher token prices. Pretty rough conclusion, but generally price will move in tandem with fundamentals. So if we take this logic and apply it to the ARB ecosystem, then I think over the next few weeks, it's really good to look at some of the main beneficiaries here. Look at which ones are getting significant airdrops. Once you work that out, and there's a dashboard here, which is 𝗕𝗏values.com. Once you work that out, then you want to go through each one and look at if they've outlined plans to utilize those airdrops. So there's two factors here. One, the percentage of market cap that it constitutes. And then two, I'm actually going to tweet on this later. I got to remind myself after the show to tweet about this because I'm going to try and find the best ones for you. So make sure you follow me on Twitter in the description. But two, actually go into these projects' Discords and or Twitters and see if they've actually outlined their plans. Because some are going to use it better than others. Some are going to use it for the reasons that won't impact token price. I don't know, like some sort of team allocation, or some will use it badly. Some will just, give it all away in a week to emissions or something. And then some are going to be really smart about it. Some are going to incentivize certain pools and then use those trading fees to pay back to holders. And then some are going to create flywheels with this new airdrop. The ones that do that, the ones that do the best job of handling this new money, they'll be the ones that benefit the most price-wise. So it's worth actually going through the Arbitrum ecosystem and working out, okay, out of these top airdrop recipients, how they're going to use these coins. How they're going to use these. That's really the important thing we have to ask ourselves. For example, Chainlink receiving 500K, but it's only 0.014%. It's not going to affect them at all. Whereas Vesta, it's receiving 80%. It's probably going to affect them a little bit more. The most entertaining option is the likely outcome, Elon. It's not a bad quote. People love entertainment, especially in crypto. So that's what I'm seeing in the ARB ecosystem. I'd have a look into it. Something else in the ARB, and also, by the way, incentives, typically good for price of the base token. Look at the Avalanche token. Let me actually get this chart up. Let's look at the AVAX token on August 19th. Go into the weekly or daily. So, okay, this is fucked. Look at when incentives started. That's when incentives started. $16 to 147, 800%. Now, I'm not saying that happens again with ARB. In fact, what you have to remember is this was also the top of Bitcoin. So AVAX had the market running with it, which helped a lot. It contributed mostly, actually. But having the ecosystem fund gave it that extra bit of juice. Now, Arbitrum's not the only token with a fund. Optimism has a fund right now. Many other projects have funds. But just wanted to give you a little bit of a comparison to maybe indicate that it could be bullish. I don't know how bullish. I don't know how high. I can't tell you. I'm just trading price action, but I'll look to get into ecosystem projects if the BTC pairs look good, if they're using emissions correctly, according to the 2 steps I outlined before. And yeah, obviously dependent on price action. And our price action, you already know my thesis there. I actually want to look at our BTC as well. Onto the Bitcoin list. BTC. That's ARBTC. Shit. I do like AR long term, but can't deny that chart looks bad. Good project, but yeah, chart looks shit. And I'm a long term holder of Arweave. So Arbitrum, Bitcoin. It's a bit of an interesting chart, actually. It depends how you draw it. You want to draw it like that. You want to draw it, you know, a little. I mean, yeah, this is the problem with diagonals. But generally, I would probably do it something like this, and I would call this deviation. Otherwise, you know, you got to slice straight through. But look, however you want to draw it, it is in a downtrend. So you want to see some sort of reversal. Probably just see this level here. I'll draw this in with a horizontal array. I would want to flip this level. This isn't that important. It's mostly the horizontal I'm looking at for our BTC. Anyway, start to flip that. The USD pair looks good as long as it makes a higher low. Also in the ARB ecosystem, I want to highlight Gains Network. This is one that, I mean, its ARB launch was around here, right? Look at this uptick in trading volume since then. GMX also performing really well at the moment. So, been pretty impressive, some of these dexes on Arbitrum, the amount of volume they've been able to get. I think in Gains' case, I wouldn't purely put it down to the fact they're on Arbitrum. I think it's just generally like a good product. And you guys know I do a bit of trading on Gains Network, and they've got a lot of pairs now. I think also the ability to trade currencies, silver, gold, that's helped. Actually, Forex volume, if we look. Forex volume at one point was bigger than crypto volume. So it's kind of crazy. Like, we're seeing products that actually are able to bring in new audiences, because the crypto guys, they don't necessarily all want to trade Forex. Most of you probably aren't interested, but there were Forex traders that realized, oh, we can get a better trading experience on a DEX. We don't have to KYC. We have custody of our own funds, and we can still trade pairs. And I think that's why you see this volume increase. The crypto trading has actually gone up while Forex has gone down. So that's where we're seeing the crossover. But I wonder if the gap starts widening again. Tiny bit of stock trading, not many stocks are listed on Gains. But yeah, it's been generally impressive. And when you can get these other markets, that's where you get real growth. So Gains Network's still one that I like as a protocol. As a token, look, I am a holder, and also Gains Network, of course, is a sponsor of the show. So I do have a vested interest in the token. I've taken profits on the token because I think I bought it $150 and then it went to $11 at some point. So, my initial's out, but I'm still riding a decent bag, mostly just profits. And of course, they are a sponsor as well. So if you do want to trade on G-Trade, there's a link in the description for Gains Network. And you can trade there using that link. It's a cool product. It's good to trade on the DEXs alongside centralized exchanges, especially with this whole Bybit KYC thing. Some people don't want to KYC for Bybit. Some people will kind of want to migrate to DEXs and stuff. So I'm not just talking about Gains when I say this, but I think, in general, Apex as well is another one that I use. I think in general, there will be a bit of a migration to dexes, just as a broader trend, and that'll affect many dexes, I think. Someone just said Pepe's use cases to make us a lot of money. I hope Gains list Pepe. I'm actually going to ask the team if they can list it. That would really be good for them, I think, volume-wise. But obviously, they're not going to list a rug. They need to do their due diligence. That's mostly where you get the delay between projects launching and projects getting listed on an exchange. Yeah, I'm going to message them. We need Pepe on dexes. I know it's on Uniswap, but no perps. Imagine if you could trade on G-Trade perp Pepe. It'd be sick. I mean, okay, I'm not saying you should leverage trade Pepe, by the way, because it's very risky, but I'm saying it would be cool. It'd be cool to have the option, but oh my god, Pepe's enough of a risk. Imagine adding leverage to that. Easy way to get wrecked, but I'd still love to see the pair, irrespective. But yeah, easy way to get wrecked. There is GNS staking. There's a lot you can do on Gains. They have their staking vaults as well. Pepe God Candle. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Oh! Wow. Okay, let me get this up on my big get chart. Don't short Pepe. It's not cool. Don't fade Pepe. You can't. Oh wow. You can't really short meme coins. I mean, nah, not this at least. This is a long or a sideline situation. Becca. Sorry, Becca. Look, I like some of your content. I also find you a bit abrasive sometimes, but generally I like your content. Lol. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're about to get wrecked. He's actually claiming clout. Oh, man. Becca. Okay, can we please make new highs on this so we can wreck Becca? Actually, let's see when Becca tweeted. Because he just says shit. Like, you can't just say it's a blow off top. Does that look like a blow off top to you? So stupid. Let's actually put his tweet. This is a bit petty of me, but let's put the tweet over. Let's see exactly when he called this. Okay, I need to go into a smaller time. Let's go 5 minutes. Oh, it's annoying me. Come on, gotta move this here. All right. Becca? We're literally above when you said it was a top. He was wrong. It's not a blow off top. Wrong. Where's the dislike button? Becca fading the dankest of memes. You can't fade me. Like, okay. Saying you can't fade a meme doesn't mean you should buy it. It just means you can't fade it. You can't say it's a top. You can't. This could 10x. Like, it's a meme. Like, it's a meme. It can literally do whatever it wants. It's a meme. It has no constraints. It's got no physical limitations. It's the sky's the limit for a meme. That's the problem. That's the problem with shorting a meme. Anyway. Pepe's about to go down terribly. Oh, at some point it will, bro. And it might be today. But you can see I'm laughing because I don't really care. Like, I'm not, as I said earlier, it's gambling money. Like, if we freaking moons, awesome. If it doesn't, cool. It's kind of how I feel about it. I literally just feel like I put money at the roulette table. Must buy 10x potential. Ah! I like your facial expression. You should be a YouTuber, Sam. With the facial expression. You're good at it. You should be a YouTuber. You've got a good thumbnail face. Pepe the goat. Hustle in the house. Hustle, you hold on. Hustle. Hustle PDR. So I gotta put in the 0x. Okay, let's see when Hustle bought Pepe. No. Okay, you said you're in April 18th. All right, that's in. Marketing team on another level. I'm in. April 18th. All right, let's go on to the PEPE chart. It wasn't even listed then. Hold on, let me go into Dex Tools. So this is Hustle's call. I remember seeing this tweet as well, and I'm like, fuck, he has balls tweeting that, because I was too scared to tweet. I didn't actually own any then. I'm not going to click cloud on something I didn't own. Okay, you bought here. What was it, April 19th or 18th? 18th. At, hold on, let's get the time. 7:55 a.m. Let's go hourly chart. 19th. 7 a.m. Okay, there. Since then, you've made 300%. And that's just when you tweeted. So you probably got in earlier than that. You probably, like, I don't know whether you did or didn't get in earlier than that. But at the very least, you're up 4x. And that's not even assuming you bought more. Maybe you also did what I did, because I missed when you bought, but I got this breakout here. Maybe you also rebought the breakout and, you know, you doubled down. I don't know. I don't know what you did, but either way, well done. Good tweet. Good alpha. I think also Hustle mentioned it on the show. So you guys that watch his show are pretty good. I didn't flex on you. I'm showing you Hustle's trade. I didn't flex. You've been lifting. I have been. I actually have my gym top on, but I had to change it because I was like, you know, I didn't want to look all tight on camera. I'm loving, see, everyone's now like shilling memes, like it's gone crazy. Everyone's FOMOing. What I'm scared of is meme coins often lead to Bitcoin local tops. I'm very wary of this. I'm very wary of this meme coin thing. And also the other thing you got to note is this is like largely a circle jerk of liquidity. Because if you actually look at the, okay, let's go on to like total three. This is the crypto chart excluding ETH and BTC. No new money's coming to crypto. This has been the same since early April. Sure, we had a bit of a blow off mid-April, but okay, let's go into the daily just to show you. In fact, I'll go into the weekly. This has been the same. PEPE's 10x and total 3 stayed the same. That means no new money's coming to crypto. Actually, I'm pretty sure less money's in crypto now than when PEPE started pumping 2 weeks ago here. So here's the thing, guys. This isn't new money coming in, unfortunately, which was what the Dogecoin run was last cycle. This is just rotations. This is people just flicking cash around. Like, okay, they're selling out of Doge and they're going into PEPE, and then they're selling Uniswap and Solana and AVAX and going into, like, this is just people trading already existing capital. This isn't people on-ramping to get into PEPE. Otherwise, we would have seen a meme coin total 3 pump. So no actual new liquidity coming in. So that's kind of why I'm feeling bearish here, because it's like people just rotating capital around. No new money's coming in, blow off top. Then you get a bunch of panic. It's kind of, I don't know. Let's see. That, you know, I would love to see a bit of a total 3 breakout. Just on total 3 for a second. Yes, we did get the diagonal break. We had a retest, but the issue is horizontal resistance is strong here. We really have just been ranging below, right? In this kind of new range. And I'll draw it out for you. We've kind of been ranging. We might end up doing something like this. Until you get a decisive break either side. Then that's when your big moves are going to come. That's when you're going to get that crypto altcoin double your money, or 10x your money pump, or your oblivion dump. So right, until then, we're kind of just ranging. Another factor as well. Very boring market. Apart from the memes, which are a lot of fun, very boring market. Well, I mean, not too boring, because we did have a huge Bitcoin move up, but boring in the sense that, you know, not much new money coming in. All right, I'm gonna leave it here because tomorrow I will I'll have a bigger market update in terms of obviously we had a meme coin market update today, but I'll have a bigger market update once some of this data starts coming out, and we'll start prepping for FOMC and all that fun stuff, and maybe open some trades around it. But I think that's it for now, because memes, not financial advice, definitely not financial advice. Cool. Remember, don't be too stupid. Don't risk money you can't afford to lose. And until the next show, I will see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Peace out.